Hi there and welcome to my game review for Ampu-Tea. In this review I'll explain what this game is, what to expect, and if it is a game I recommend to you. Now onto the review. What is Ampu-Tea, might you ask? Ampu-Tea is a tea making simulator in which the player uses a robotic arm to make a cup of tea. As guessed, the title of the game is a pun on the word amputee. The game also uses a robotic hand of the main character, who is an amputee themselves, to play on the game's title. Even though the premise of this game appears simple to understand and play on, this game is in fact tricky because it uses a keyboard and mouse to control the hand and fingers, not dissimilar to the control system as used in Surgeon Simulator. Unsurprisingly, this game is very fiddly to play on. Whilst I had no issue with picking up cups, most of the other tasks that you need to do are awkward, just like in Surgeon Simulator. However, in contrast to Surgeon Simulator, this game is lacking content. On Ampu-Tea, there is one scenario in the game. This scenario is making a cup of tea in a kitchen. Outside of this, there is no other content available to earn or play in the game after you complete the game, although there are 3 types of tea to make based on the difficulty chosen. With regards to gameplay, I think that the game is a chore to play on, primarily due to the game design and the state the game was released in. However, I did enjoy the game for a short period of time, but I feel that the novelty of the game wears off very quickly, mainly because you have a robotic arm rather than a human hand in a modern kitchen. The limited amount of objectives, with little to no extra points or challenge, doesn't help the game either. I also think that the game is a quick cash grab or even a school project. I think this because of the basic and shallow amount of content the game has to offer. The fact that there is a lack of inspiration and or effort going into the design of the game goes against the game's favour. Personally, if the game hadn't had the robotic arm, I still think that Ampu-Tea would have a little more charm, mostly because the arm looks so out of place for a game set in the modern day. Although this game is a small indie game, the overall quality of the game is poor and or rushed on many fronts. The quality of in-game assets is an example of this. The tea bags in particular, I feel, prove my point, as the tea bags in-game appear too full for a tea bag. The aesthetic texture of the tea bags is okay. It has details of perforations and uses expected colours. However, I think that the in-game models could be improved upon. The visual effects in-game are poor, as assets in-game are either in a solid or gas form. I dislike the binary choice of asset forms, as this is a game that is about making tea. I think that due to the premise of the game, it is obligatory for liquid to be in the game. Take the milk machine for example. Instead of pouring milk in a liquid form, the game will actually spawn the milk in a solid table tennis ball-like form instead. The water is also the same, but it looks like a blue orb rather than water as a liquid. It also doesn't end there, as whenever you have made a cup of tea, the steam effect that the game uses is more like smoke rather than steam. However, if this game was set in a futuristic setting, the game could have been a better game for many reasons, mainly because of the potential the game could have had. Since a science fiction game is easier to create content for than a pick and mix style, I could imagine no shortage of content that could be in the game, such as making tea in a spaceship or in another setting where gravity no longer exists. Even in the game's modern setting, there could have been a mode where you make tea for others against the clock. Unsurprisingly, this game is short, as it takes 2 hours to get all the in-game achievements. However, to get to the final achievement, it will take you 6.7 hours to complete the game. This is because in order to get the final achievement, you have to load the game 500 times. This achievement is a senseless and monotonous task. Generally, as a result of the aforementioned factors, I feel that this isn't a game, but instead this feels like a demo or even something for people to mess about on or create videos for YouTube. I think that the limited amount of content the game offers is tragic, especially as the game should have taken more leaves from Surgeon Simulator's book, since Surgeon Simulator has different options and modes. This game could have made similar content to boost the game's lifespan and even make the game better, whether that being different kitchens to play on, extra cups of tea to make. There could have even been more scenarios which provide a refreshing and unique way to play the game. If this game would have had more content, I feel that if it was a well-made game, it could have been a better experience. Inevitably, I wouldn't recommend anyone buying Ampu-Tea at all, because there are better games available within the Wonky controls genre of games.